It was the climax of my high school career. I was in charge of my school's robotics team, and we were at the competition, waiting, with bated breath, for our next match, waiting to redeem ourselves from years of disappointment in a particularly interesting past year. But before I continue, I'll give some context. For my entire high school career, I was a member of this robotics team. We competed in the FRC, or the First Robotics Competition. Each year, we get a game that has different tasks for a robot to complete. We get points based on how we complete those tasks. After we get the game in January, we have 6 weeks to build and test the bot for competition. For my first 2 years, I was in the club working on the bot, but never really got a chance to think about the actual design of it. Then, in my junior year, I got a little bit more pull and was able to show my leadership skills that I learned from Boy Scouts and my problem-solving skills that I learned from having a dad who's an engineer. Then it happens, my senior year. I'm the president of the club. I have a lot of great ideas on how to change the way that the club works so we can win. You see, my team wasn't really the best at winning in the literal sense of the word. Well, not really in any sense of the word. We were consistently getting placed in last. So, for the summer leading up to my senior year, I was looking up how engineering companies organize to complete this type of project. I was looking up how we could be the best team possible. So at the start of the year, I was ready for anything they could throw at me. And then, at the first meeting, I find out that nearly 40 kids are going to be in the team this year, which means I have to figure out how to organize 40 kids to build a robot. The team's advisor assures me that most of them will be gone by October. But sure enough, when we take our team picture in October, most of them are still there. But that's the least of my problems. At the kickoff in January, we found out that the task is way more intricate and a lot harder than previous years. And immediately after kickoff is build season, or, as my team likes to call it, 6 weeks of hell. And for the next 6 weeks, we worked furiously to build a bot within the deadline. We had to be able to work together to solve problems and compromise on how to design it. And I'd be lying if I said it always worked out that way. We went through design after design until we could settle on something to build. Then came the actual building of the bot. This was the most frustrating thing of all. I had to figure out how to divide 40 kids up, who mostly had no idea what they were doing, into teams that would build a part of a robot. I was constantly running around and making sure everyone was doing what they were supposed to, not to mention the 2 advisors who would keep taking me aside and arguing with me about the design, saying that it wouldn't work. But eventually we got it done. And with no time, after 6 weeks, we would have to bag the bot and wait till our competition date. And then, finally, it's the first day of the competition. I have to get to school at 5:30 because I'm the president. And then we load up the bot, everyone gets on the bus, and we head to Hofstra University, the host of the competition every year. And then we start the end of our long journey. The competition lasts for 3 days. On the first day, it's just a time for us to get our personal portable workshops ready, called pits. And then also it's the time to get our robot inspected. The next day and a half for qualification matches to see if we can make it into the finals. And then the next half of the day is the finals and the award ceremony. Once we got our pitch set up, we went to the inspector. And apparently I did the wiring slightly wrong. I won't get into specifics, but just know that I had to rewire the whole system in under an hour. We eventually got it past the inspection and were ready for the competition. And by that time, it was the end of the day. So we left feeling pretty confident about ourselves and the bot. And then it's the next day. We're queued up and ready for our first match, and we're pretty excited. We hear the announcement start the countdown. All teams ready? Okay, starting in 3, 2, 1, go! I pick up the controller, ready to start the competition strong, and it doesn't work. Nothing. Everything that I do with the controller, the bot won't move. We might as well have a brick on the field. After the match, we go back to our pit and find out that one of the main wires that I've just fixed came loose and rendered the bot inert. We fixed it and went on our way. And then for the rest of the day, it was pretty much we would have one good match, and then something would break, and we would have had two bad matches. Suffice to say, we ended the second day with our confidence significantly lowered. And then it's the third day, the final day. The final day to redeem ourselves. And on our first match of that day, we're waiting with bated breaths, waiting to try and redeem ourselves. And apparently, we must have fixed everything wrong with the bot because we had no problems. We were winning match after match. But sadly, it wasn't enough, and we didn't make the finals. But we did do better than really our team has ever done before. And I find that an accomplishment. We may not have won, but we did learn a lot of things. And hopefully, even though I'm not there, next year, they'll learn from the mistakes that I made and that we made before to make this year their best year.